So today we will talk about pharynx. What is basically a pharynx? Basically, pharynx is a muscular passage. It is a muscular passage after the oral cavity. After oral cavity, it is a tubular structure, tubular muscular passage. It is 12 to 14 centimeter long, and it is present like, consider like this is your trachea, your windpipe, and this is esophagus, right? This is esophagus. This is esophagus, and this is trachea, right? And what is now esophagus? Esophagus is actually the food pipe, right? It's a food pipe, and the trachea is a windpipe, right? And above the trachea, like the opening of trachea is here, this area is basically known as glottis. This area is known as glottis, and the area over here, this area, this is known as gullet. This is known as gullet, and above this glottis, right, above this glottis, there is another flap like cartilage. There is flap like cartilage like this, and it is known as epiglottis. That is known as epiglottis. And above this epiglottis, like, there is, you can see this portion is known as larynx. This portion is known as larynx. And above this larynx, like here the hole, right here the hole, that's known as pharynx. So actually pharynx bifurcates, like pharynx bifurcates into larynx and esophagus. Like the tube divides into larynx and esophagus, and the larynx divides into trachea, like it goes into trachea. So I hope the concept and the anatomy is clear to you. Now the pharynx. So basically there are three types of pharynx. Right? So number first is known as nasopharynx. So basically it is related to, like, it is associated with your nasal chamber. Associated to nasal chamber, right? Your nasal cavity basically. So it has, like, it is a passage from where the air goes inside. Air goes inside, right? And it is lined with ciliated columnar stratified epithelium. It is lined with ciliated columnar stratified epithelium. Let me show you the diagram of this, right? So you can see over here easily. So yeah, over here we are having, so you can see this portion, basically this portion is known as your nasal pharynx. Portion is known as a nasal pharynx, from which, like, these are your nostrils, right? And the air is coming inside. The air is coming inside your body through this nasal pharynx. This is your nasal chamber, your nasal cavity. This is nasal cavity, and from here, right, this is your nasal pharynx and nasopharynx, and from here the air is coming inside. Right? I hope this is clear to you now. Right, now the second part is oropharynx. Right, now oropharynx, like, it is a place from where food and water comes inside. Right, the food and the water comes inside through the oropharynx, and it is lined with non-keratinized squamous stratified epithelium. So it is lined with non-keratinized squamous stratified epithelium, right? So you can, in short form, you can write NKSSE. It's a short form to remember. Just so this is a place from which a food and water comes inside, and it is in the mid between nasopharynx and laryngopharynx. So basically, what is laryngopharynx? Laryngopharynx is basically the third type of the pharynx. Laryngopharynx, right? And here in the oropharynx, eustachian tube opens. Now, what is eustachian tube? Actually, eustachian tube is a tube which is present in your mid ear, which is responsible to balancing purpose, balancing pressure, basically, right? So when you yawn or eat something, this eustachian tube opens. And when you're eating nothing and you're not yawning, this is closed. So basically, when you are eating or when you are basically yawning, so this eustachian tube opens, and it is present in the oral cavity, basically, right? So number third is laryngopharynx, right? Okay, let me first of all show you the diagram of oropharynx, right? So here I'm having this. So yeah, I'm having this over here. You can easily see. Okay, so here I'm having this oropharynx, right? So this is basically, this is a place from where you eat, you drink water, you eat, and this is a place from where this food passes inside. So this is known as your oropharynx, right? This is known as your oropharynx. So I hope this is clear to you. Now let's talk about third type, which is laryngopharynx, right? So here you can see this is a place above, like it's above the larynx. This is the place above the larynx, and it is also lined with NKSSE. It is also lined with NKSSE, like non-keratinized squamous stratified epithelium. And this laryngopharynx is also known as hypopharynx. This is also known as hypopharynx, and basically it is a place from where the food and air cross. It is a place from which the food and air basically cross. Basically, this is like this, that food from oropharynx and the air from nasopharynx. So like here you can see this is having trachea and this is the esophagus. So you can see over here, like this is nasopharynx, so the air is coming into the trachea, and then this is the oral cavity, and the food is coming into the esophagus, and the region between this is basically known as this is known as laryngopharynx or hypopharynx, right? So let me show you the diagram of this too. Basically you can see over here, let me remove this first. Okay, let's leave this diagram. I'll show you another diagram. Okay, this is basically clear to you in this diagram. So this is the laryngopharynx. You can see the space behind here, like from where the air from the nasal cavity and the food from the oropharynx, or you can see the oral cavities coming. So here the mixing is done, right? Let me show you another diagram with the help of this one diagram. This is more clear over here. So you can see over here, right? This is known as your laryngeal pharynx or laryngopharynx. Basically you can easily see that the food from this oral cavity and the air from this is coming over here. This is mixing over here. This is known as laryngopharynx, right? And let me tell you one thing, that you can see over here that this nasal cavity and this oral pharynx and this basically here, this is your basically pharynx. This is your pharynx, right? And it is 12 to 14 centimeter long. So I hope this is clear to you, right?